to go live.
Hey! Hey! Couché!
I see. Papa Shay.
I'm the king of rock. There is none higher. Sucker MCs should all be tired. The first my kingdom, you must see fire. I won't stop rocking till I retire.
Like a dog without a bone, an actor out alone. Riders on the storm.
Wow.
And the music was good and the music was loud.
Nice.
You like that, don't you?
I like that, man. You doing it. I appreciate
Zeke,
that.
I'm trying to keep it professional. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be like you, dog.
Hey, man, you're doing better than me right now. Got us on this StreamYard. I never even heard of it. Oh, I've heard of StreamYard. I never used it, but
Yeah, StreamYard's it's dope shit.
that's
It's really
what's
dope.
up. Yeah.
Hey, man, I want to first of all thank you for being on the show. Okay, people, I want to introduce Zeke Dixon, the owner, founder, creator, discoverer of Dogumentary TV. And I'm gonna take my glasses off, like Skip Bailey say, put them back on. I'm gonna take my glasses off, like Shannon Sharp. Listen, this guy right here, Zeke, literally, not figuratively, but literally, made me, I would say, semi-famous in the Doberman game on the
Did I do
internet.
that? Did I do that?
Yeah, dude.
Tell everybody.
Yeah, dude. Remember, your platform had already been established before I had a platform, really, right?
Right.
And you was doing it big on YouTube when people were not doing it on YouTube at all. My boy Doug's on. So I want to say thanks, man, for I want to say thanks, man, for joining in. People, I got Zeke here, Documentary TV. I actually had a chance to like nail you down for a date. We've changed this date a few times.
We have, and it's been all my fault, man. You know, I work during the week, and then I have two small kids, man, and my kids are very active. You know,
Right.
So it's a lot going on over here.
But I appreciate it, man. Listen,
Not to mention, I'm in the middle of like a remodel in my house, so we had to run to Floor and Decor, which I ain't never been in that store before. Had to run to Home Depot, and my daughter had a softball game. It's a lot going on over here, man. But it's all.
Sunday was busy, wasn't it?
And it's 100 degrees out here, bro.
Right.
It's October. Come on, man.
I know that's true. Now I was in Paris, California today, doing an episode video shoot. Yeah, and the crazy part about it is, like the temperatures rose to 102 out there, man.
Yeah, it was 103 out here. It's hot, man.
Man, I don't know if you can deal with it, man. Oh yeah, my man Doug said I've been with Zeke since the badass bully days. Woo!
That's right. Bully Badass TV all day, every day. I appreciate you, man.
Doug is one of our major supporters, man, with me and NWA, Kenny Corsos, my boy Jordan. And it's good to have people, man, who support what you're trying to do, because it does take time and effort and money out of our time to please the masses, you know, to be informative, educational, but entertaining at the same time.
Right.
You know, but again, man, I want to ask you a question, man, like, and I know we got a few minutes here. We only got 30 minutes because of time restraints. We're going to do it again for sure. But I want to ask you, like, what got you into doing the Dogumentary? How did you come up with that name? And what got you into Dogumentary TV as far as YouTube?
Yeah, let's start where Doug started at. I was doing Bully Badass TV. I started Bully Badass TV back in 2009.
Bad connection like a mug. Talk to me, Zeke. Guys, I apologize for that. Zeke is in the middle of a, he says remodel, but I call it an
Oh,
addition.
I'm sorry.
I
I
mean,
don't know what's going on. I think it has something to do with heat. Can you hear me now?
yeah, you got to get rid of that portable Wi-Fi, man. Everybody can't use it at the same time, dog. Stop it.
No, I'm actually hardwired. I'm in my garage is what I am, and it's like I said, it's probably like about 95, 100 degrees. The computer, I don't know what's going on. I haven't had this issue before, so we're gonna work through it though.
Yeah.
But I was saying in 2009, I started Bully Badass TV. At that time, I was selling a DVD series called Bully Badass TV. I think I got up to like 10 volumes of that DVD. And I had started a YouTube channel because I needed a place to kind of send out trailers to let people know what was on the DVD and kind of promote the DVD. And I did that for probably from 2009 to about 2011. In 2011, YouTube reached out to me and offered to monetize my content. So I was like, cool, I'll do that. And, for probably, I guess 4 years, it was like it was like a part-time job. I still did what I did. And I would just, post the videos every now and then, make a little money from YouTube. It was great. And then in 2013, my son was born. And in 2014, by surprise, my daughter was born. My daughter came. And when I had 2 kids, I said, you know what, man, I was that year I had spent a lot of time overseas with Snoop Dogg and working with Snoop. And I was away from my family. And that was just something I didn't want to do. So I said, you know what, I think I could take this YouTube thing and make it a full-time gig. Talked to my wife about it. I had some money saved up from working with Snoop all that time. And I just put a whole year into doing documentary TV. It's so weird because I thought when I had came up with the name Dogumentary, I thought, oh, that's cool, Dogumentary, like documentaries for dogs, Dogumentary, and I was all excited. And I was still working with Snoop at the time, and Snoop looked at me like, "Damn, dog, you just gonna steal my shit right in front of me?" I was like, "Nah, I mean, I didn't even think about it in that way." But obviously, Snoop's first album was called Dogumentary, right? So it was that. But he gave me his blessings, and he told me go ahead and do what I'm doing. He didn't trip off of me, and he ain't sent his lawyers after me all this time. So I think we good.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I know that conversation had to been a little bit tough for the wife. Like, yo, I'm about to step out on this ledge and pursue my dream or my passion, and the money ain't gonna flow like it always have been initially. So how was that conversation having it with her?
It was, to be honest with you, like I said, I had a lot of money in the bank at the time. So I showed her what I had in the bank when I made the decision, which was probably like about 8 or 9 months of reserves for what we needed to do to take care of the house. And I said, like, if I don't, if it ain't working out, I'll just go back to work. Right? It wasn't like it was, I was quitting the job or whatever. I was always a freelance worker, right? So,
yeah.
But the beautiful thing about it was, that December, well, actually, it was that January, I wouldn't show that we had 13 months of reserve left in the account. So, that whole year I made more money, and I was being real frugal that year. So I didn't spend a lot of money that year.
Right.
And it was, I made a lot of money and was able to.
And this is what we're going to go through when you live in hot ass city called Pasadena. But people, just bear with us. We're going to get this connection thing right at some point, I promise you. And understand that depending on where you live in California, if circuits and stuff are a little bit too hot, oh, he's back. He's back.
I'm back. I'm gonna see if I can jump on my phone and see if can we get another call in here or no?
Yeah, you can go ahead and try to.
Let's try that because but then I'm looking at my phone. I barely got any battery life left in my phone. So yeah, I don't know what's going on out here. If you can see it, if you see me, I'm sweating. Like it is literally. I couldn't turn the air conditioner on because that was flipping the switches.
Yep. So yeah, I want to when we get the connection correct, I want to touch bases on like all the interviews you've set up with. There's one particular one I remember you did where the guy had like 30, 40, 50 dogs or something out in Oregon, man.
Yeah,
And he
that's my
was
boy Brad Anders. He wasn't in Oregon, he was in New Mexico.
New Mexico, and he was actually almost crying because I think he felt like it was an addiction, man, to getting all these dogs. It was like he couldn't stop.
You know,
And I get it. I get it because I want to keep, a puppy off of every litter that I've helped produce. You know what I'm saying?
right.
But at some point, reality kicks in. Like, yo, dude, it's becoming an issue where it's legal,
Right.
illegal.
Right.
Any update on him?
I haven't talked to Brad in probably a few months. He's doing good as the last time I spoke to him. I do follow him on YouTube. I mean, on Facebook.
Yeah.
So his stuff pops up on my timeline every now and then, and he seems to be living a good life. Him and his wife. I know a little while ago he had hit me up. I think he was having some issues with folks harassing him about his dog situation or whatever, but I don't think I don't know what ever came of that. But
How many dogs did he have when the last time you talked to him?
you know what? I didn't do a count. I think at one point he had probably 20. And he was getting rid of them since then. He might be down to maybe 10 or so. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't kind of did an audit on how many dogs he had.
But they were all different breeds. When it was like
they were different breeds. What he was doing was he was working as like running a conservatorship for rare Japanese breeds. But then he also had livestock guardian dogs. He had a bully Kutta, which is from Pakistan. He had an American Pit Bull Terrier. He was a dog connoisseur, man. You know what I'm saying? You know how like you walk down the street, you see a nice little dog, you're like, that's a nice dog, and you be like, I ain't got no space for it. I don't have no time for it.
Still get it.
You still get it. You know what I'm saying? You like, I'm gonna make a way. I'm gonna make a way.
I'm like that with cars, man. It's like, but you know what? Here's the deal. So what I realized as men, we fall in love. The first thing we as boys fell in love with was either dogs or cars, toy cars, Hot Wheels. As we get older, and wait till he gets back on. This is a good point, people. Oh, he's popping in somewhere else. Okay, pop in.
Let's try that, man. Let's just do this, man, because I think the computer thing is gonna be weird.
Yeah, let me close you out of this one. How about that one? There we go. There we go. How's that?
That's good. Let me do it this way. How's this gonna work? Is that gonna work better for you?
Better.
There it is.
Ooh, man. Goddamn. Look at that. You look beautiful. Look at you.
Oh man.
You're coordinating.
Now I gotta hide all the junk in my office though, because like I said, we doing work here, so all the stuff that we had to get out of the house is now in the garage with me. That's probably another reason why it's like 150 degrees in here.
So what I was saying is that I think I can understand your guys' situation, and I put it in perspective. Like, before boys liked girls, before we liked girls, we liked cars and dogs. I mean, that was our first passion. I mean, I used to love Hot Wheels. I mean, that was mine. I remember sitting on a corner with my cousin or whatever, a car passed by, and I'm like 9. I said, "That's my car. That's my car." We argued about it.
Yeah.
And we're not even in the goddamn car. Right. And I think, I know as we get older, we gravitate to those things that gave us the most happiness when we were kids. That's why you see a lot of older women collect dolls again, because that was the first thing they played with, Generation X, that they played with when we grew up,
Right.
And I put it like, when I was going through my divorce in 2010, my wife at the time did not like dogs, and she's from Belize, where you got all kind of wild ass dogs running around. And once she moved out of my crib and moved back and kicked her tenants out of her crib, I was able to get a dog, right? I got one, but I didn't just want one. Now I got to get two, because a brother like me got to have two of everything.
Oh man, you greedy.
Got two of everything, and that seems to be like, okay, now I'm living. I still have that condo now. It's a rental, but I was living in a 2-bedroom condo, and I had two Dobermans. Now that shit don't work.
That's
But
a lot, bro.
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
But I worked it out because it was a passion. So now imagine if I got a third dog. Now we're really talking about a lot. So I get his situation because animals, man. I say this, and I say this with all respect to all my sisters, white, black, Asian, Hispanic, all the women. I love women. It is what it is. But dogs do something that no human can possibly do, and they stay consistent. What I mean by that is that you can be gone 2 years, 2 months, 2 weeks, 2 days, or 2 hours, and as soon as they see you pull up at that door, their tail's like this, right? Now, they can do that every day. You don't even have to feed them for 2 days. They're going to do this right here. Now, when they don't come to that door and do this right here, you, Zeke, know something physically is wrong with that dog. Right?
Right.
How many people can you say that their attitude and their behavior is consistent every day towards you? Can't happen.
No.
So I get the loyalty to animals because there is a symbolic bond. There is a non-communicating aspect to it. There's vibing to it, right? The dog vibes us. The dog smells fear. The dogs know when you're sick. Dogs know when you're angry. I mean, sometimes we got to, our wives know us good enough. They know us well enough now that, hey, don't talk to me. I'm not feeling it. They know that they know now, but they didn't know in the beginning, right? It's a learned thing, right? So, animals, man, I also say this too, is like, I used to like trip out on people like, man, why y'all crying about a dog, man? It's dead. Get another one. But now I know why, because I experienced the same loss of my red dog Alonzo, where like, damn, this dog got me out of depression when no human could. This dog got me outside when no human could bribe me to go outside. This dog gave me, my ex-wife told me one day, she said, your dogs defined you. And I used to think like, man, that's some fucking bullshit. But then I like, you know what? I take that with honor. I'm cool with that. Right. So I get it, man. I mean, and I see a lot of shows of animal hoarding and stuff. And I think that when you're taking on too many animals, whether they're horses or dogs or cats, you do a disservice to the animal. You can't take care of all of them. You can't be with each one of them every time. So yeah, I get it, man. I get it. What's your views on that, though?
I'm a simple man. Like I don't own a lot of things. To be 100% honest with you, the only thing I would want more of at this point, if I were younger, would be more kids. I wouldn't want, when I'm done with this car, I'm just gonna buy another car. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna have two cars,
Yeah.
Fortunately I'm married, so I kind of always do have access to two cars, but I'm not a, get a bunch of cars, get a bunch of dogs things. If I had more land and more time, I would definitely get a few more dogs. I would love to have 2 or 3 dogs, of different purposes. I always going to keep a Rottweiler around for protection, for guarding. If I had a farm, I'd get me some kind of terrier, little ratter, keep the vermin down, and then I would probably get my daughter. She wants a dog. My daughter, she loves dogs. I think my Rottweiler is just a little too rough for her. She's always asking for like a pug or a golden doodle or something like that. And I'm a big believer in, like raising your kids with animals and dogs and especially dogs, because like you said, the relationship is so consistent, right? So your kid learns that, you know, like a cat can be moody, right? A cat can ignore you, right? You're gonna have to love on your dog every day. At some point, your dog's gonna love you, and he's gonna want you to love him every day. You know, and you're gonna get into that relationship, and getting into that relationship, I think, for children, for people, for human beings in general, it's just like you said, it's a good thing to have. The consistency,
Yeah.
consistent companionship is great, you know. And I think that that's one of the things that, you know, I was fortunate to have a dog growing up. I love my dog. Um, you know, and I think, you know, like I said, I always wanted my kids to have a dog in the house, and that's one of the reasons why I have the dog I have now.
I think it's very imperative that we have, and I'm with you, man. I would like to have a bunch of kids, but financially, I don't know. Shit, private school and Catholic school, man, is
That's too much money. I know that's the thing.
yeah,
I'm done. But you know, like I said, if I was to start hoarding anything,
yeah.
it'd be
Me,
kids.
yeah, me and Steph, we don't have any kids together, but I mean, I ain't neutered. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, but I would say this, man. Like I remember the first dog you have. How's your pit doing, man?
My pit passed away last year.
He was what, 13, 14 years old?
He was 15 going on 16.
Ain't nothing to complain about that, man. That's a full life, dog.
No,
That's a
I don't
full.
complain about it. Like I said, it don't. Like I said, I always wanted my kids to have a dog in their life, and he was
Right.
the dog that they were born into. You know, and when he passed away, it was crazy because, like you said, when you come home, if your dog is doing something different, you know something wrong.
Yeah,
You
you
know what
know.
I'm saying? And when I came home that day, I came home, I moved around the house for like 15 minutes. I'm like, damn, what Bernie ain't said nothing to me yet. So I came on to the garage, and I might start crying about this, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you. He
Right.
was laying on my garage floor. He was just there. He looked at me, and he just looked at me. And I was like, damn, what's wrong with this dog? He not getting up. He not doing nothing. And so I went and got the kids, you know. And you can see when the kids came in, he tried a little harder to get
Yeah.
up. He tried a
Right.
little harder to be excited. His tail wagged a little bit harder. Like I'm like, okay, good. You know, it's
Right.
like, but he just wasn't doing it. And then so he never got up. And so I was just like, you know what? I took him to the hospital, and they was like, yo, he's pretty much, you know, we can probably make him good for another 2 or 3 weeks, but you know, that's about all he got left in him.
Did they do a necropsy to figure out what happened, what was wrong? I mean, he's over 100 years old.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, I wasn't going to go through all that trouble. Like I said, at about 15 years, I'm gonna be very honest with you. I got my sister started with the dog, and I knew him when he was a puppy. At 2 years old, I took him from my sister, and at that point in time, this was like 2007, 2009, 2010, I think. And I was thinking, this dog's gonna live 10 years. You know, that's how
Right.
long I thought dogs live, 10, 11 years. And so, you know, at the time when I had talked to the doctor, and I was, man, I ain't gonna lie, I was so, I don't know what I was, bro. You know what I'm saying? It was tough, you know.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
didn't want him like, I'd never seen him like that before, right? And I didn't want him to have 2 weeks or 2 months or whatever of
Yeah.
that kind of struggle.
Yeah.
You know, like he had done his job. Like I said, he got my kids from zero. My daughter was 9 years old when he passed. And he, you know what I'm saying? My son was
Yeah.
10. So it's one of those things, man, where it was just time to say goodbye. I said goodbye. Uh, you know, it's you know, it's tough, bro. Like I said, like
I
I don't think about it a lot because it's like thinking about it now, it's
yeah.
tough,
Yeah.
you know. But I'll say this though, man, like, you know, having a dog, like, and then so, and probably in the last 10 years, I cried when my mom died, I cried when my dad died, and I cried when my dog died.
Yeah.
You know, and I cried when to be honest, I cried when my kids were born. So I've cried like 5 times, probably in the last 30 years. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's all been within the last 10 years. You know, so I think having a dog is a great thing. That's why I had the channel. I mean, part of what I have the channel for is for people to actually be better dog owners, treat the dogs better. You all right over there? What's going on with you, bro?
Dude, I experienced the same thing.
Yeah. I said, that's real though. Hey man, you want to turn the camera off for a second and let it go, man. Hey, every time I cry, if I get caught up crying about my dog or my parents, man, if I'm in front of my kids, in front of my wife, I don't care, dude. I just cry. I let that out. I look at it like as a memorial to their existence. You know, you've been gone for X amount of months, years, whatever, and if someone's still alive here mourning your life, mourning your death, I guess, not your life. You don't mourn their life, you mourn the fact that they left you. So that's a beautiful thing, man.
Man, that boy Alonzo, man.
He was a good dog, man.
Yeah.
I know the feeling, bro. I know the feeling.
It was tough because, you know, brother was going through depression.
Right.
Divorce, depression, bankruptcy, all that. He was loyal.
He's consistent.
And the crazy part about it is like you never know the kind of bond you have until you actually bond with the dog. It's like you don't expect it, right? It's not expected. But you know, when you're going through dark times, and he is the only thing that can bring you out of it, because number one, I live in a condo, right? You got to go outside to use the restroom, right?
Right.
So he had me going outside. Man, I was so jacked up, man. My mom had just died. She was going through her issues. You know, my mom battled with drugs and then alcohol at the end. But it was like when I got him right after my wife had moved out, right? I was like, you know, I'm gonna get me a Dobie, but I'm gonna get me one from Russia, because I had saw the one that Lewis was training named Musa, right? And so, man, he got me outside, man. He was courageous. I remember, you know, you gotta take your dog to the hood where the trainers train, right? And I remember I took him over there, and I didn't know what to expect with this Doberman, right? Because this is my first real working Doberman. And you know the guys in the hood, you know, they dog guys, they're gonna test and see how tough your dog is, right? I remember Lewis grabbed him by his muzzle. So you know how sometimes dogs will fight or flight behind that. They tried to run him off. This little motherfucker wasn't running off, right? And I didn't know what I was looking at, but everybody else who was in the dog game knew, like, this motherfucker a little bit different. And man, he got me outside, man. He helped me exercise again. I mean, he helped. Listen, when he turned 10 and a half, almost 11 months, he was helped paying some bills. You know what I'm saying? So he contribute, man, to my life, and he kept the lights on, literally and figuratively. And that's why I say, man, you know, dog spelled backwards is what?
D-O-D.
It's crazy, man. And you know, it all comes back full circle, man, where in the Bible it says that we are the keepers of the beast. We are responsible, Zeke, for all animals, air, sea, and land. Who else is? We are. We can also be our own worst enemy, where we can cause animals to be extinct. You know, and we've seen that. And I would say, man, that there's going to be two things I'm always going to have in my life: a dog and a hybrid vehicle. You cannot go. You can't go wrong with those. You just can't. You can't. Right. So
Right.
for me, it's like I'm always, people come and go in this dog game. And most people who come and go, they get into the dog game because of the monetary aspect.
Right.
And when they try to get into it with the monetary aspect, they realize it ain't what you thought it was. I
Right.
remember seeing this T-shirt. I saw this post on Facebook, and I know we gotta check out pretty soon, in about 5 minutes. I saw this post on Facebook, and the guy had a shirt called it says "Success," right, on the shirt, and he was talking to an audience. On the back of the shirt, it says criticism, failure, self-doubt, low self-esteem, and other adjectives that will prove to you what it takes to be successful. But see, people didn't see what was on the back of his shirt. They only saw the front. Success, right? And I think with anything you're passionate about, like we're passionate about this, we will never consider this work, because guess what? We didn't get into it for the money. We got into it because we had a passion for it. And I want to get into one thing. I know you got it roll out. You ain't got your AC on. I know you're sweating and shit. You probably burnt 100 calories already.
Also,
Right. But talk about the Roddy for a bit. You the one that had my interest peaked a little bit about it. I'm still a Adobe guy, right? But I got a Roddy. I imported him. I made sure he came from some working stock, at least on one side. And I made sure that the tail was still intact. And I swear to God, I love a tail on a Roddy dog. And my boy is a little bit different. He's athletic and shifty. He's not a heavy Roddy where the ground shakes when he walks. No, he can turn on a dime. And he's courageous. And I love how when he's running full speed, you can see that tail still standing up, and it's like a rudder. When he going to the left, the tail goes to the right. When he goes to the right, the tail goes to the left, and it creates balance. And how's Roscoe doing, first of all, and how old is he now, man?
Roscoe's doing great. He's right here. Dog's always by my side. I'm gonna be honest with you, like. So what's going on with my life? I don't really talk about it a lot, but I'm not going to talk about it here. But there's some things going on with my life. My life is a little different. I'm middle-aged right now, so there's a lot of things going on with my life. And Ross, like you said, Roscoe has been consistent. He's been compassionate. He's grown. Always with me. You know what I'm saying? So I thought Bernie was always with me. Roscoe's always with me.
Right.
He has a. So, I can give you this thing. Like, I got people working on the house. I had people working on the house when Bernie was here. If Bernie got out the yard, Bernie went on an adventure. He went all around the neighborhood looking for stuff to do. You know what I'm saying? Roscoe got out the house, and he stayed in the front yard. So I wasn't home at the time, but he got out the house because he was in the backyard.
Yeah.
And he went under the house to the front of the house, but he just stayed in the front yard. He didn't go nowhere. He just stayed in the front yard, And I truly believe he was just probably looking for me. And when he couldn't find me, he was just waiting to get back in the house,
Yeah.
But yeah, now Roscoe's doing great. He's a great dog. He's a great protector. He's when he was like between 1 and maybe 3, we had some issues with the kids. The kids really didn't put any discipline into him, and what I mean by that is they weren't like giving him structure and stuff. So we had some issues with him running them over, barking at him, or doing different things. Nothing major, but just teenage stuff, right? Like reckless stuff. But when he hit about 3, he calmed down a lot. And they took more interest in I wouldn't say discipline. What's the word? Training. Like just like my daughter will have some training sessions with him. My son has some training sessions with him, and so he's very much. As a matter of fact, when Roscoe got out in the front yard, like I said, I wasn't here. My daughter went outside and brought him back in the house. She was probably 9 years old at the time. So Roscoe
He was listening.
He listens to it. He listens to everybody in the house. I mean, the person he listens to the least is probably my wife, but she doesn't do any kind of, she doesn't do any kind of training with him. She doesn't really, you know, she doesn't put any effort into training him. But if she tells him to get in his crate, or if she wants him to go outside or whatever she needs, she can get it done. So he listens to everybody. Um, he's gentle with everybody. Like I said, there was a time when he was younger when he was a little bit rougher, but he's learned. He's a heavy dog. He's a big dog. He's gotta walk through the house. The house ain't but so big. You can't come running through the house because you get excited about something. Um, very much protective. Um, understands the difference between my house and outside house. I have a neighbor. To tell you a quick story. I have a neighbor down the street named Randy. And Roscoe I walk Roscoe every day. He goes by Randy's house. He sees Randy. Randy sees him. Oh, it's very cool. Not at all. We're good. Roscoe doesn't bark at him or anything. One day, me and Roscoe is sitting on the porch, and Randy walked into the yard. Roscoe lights up, barks at him. And I had to explain to Randy, like, you got to understand the difference. Like, he's not protective. He's not going to protect your house, but he's been encouraged and somewhat molded to protect this house. So anytime a stranger comes on this property, anytime someone knocks on the door, he's going to bark at him. That's just what he's going to do. That's really the only thing I got the dog for, is to be a early alert system if someone was breaking into the house, right? Like, I don't need the dog.
Give you that 30, 40 seconds to get right.
Give me 15 seconds. Yeah, exactly. So when they get that second foot through the window,
it's a wrap.
Yeah, you got to go, baby. You know what I'm saying? You might want to put them 2 feet back outside.
So Roscoe, it says, are Roscoe and Brutus from the same kennel? No, man. I don't think so. Brutus came from an imported kennel, Aquaforce.
Roscoe off.
Yeah, so no. I will say this, man. The Rottweilers, when you get a good one, they naturally, automatically know what to do when it comes to the crib. I mean, my boy Brutus, he's cranking up when people are walking by the fence. Yeah. And he's in his kennel, which is 20 feet. You saw my setup.
Yeah.
So he and when people walk in the house, like the housekeeper comes, Doug said, I thought Zeke was going to select a Corso for a while until he chose Roscoe.
I was thinking about a Corso.
Yeah.
Of course, I might, and I'll be honest with you, I don't think there's much difference between a Corso and a Rottweiler. I've never owned a Corso, so I don't know what I love the emotional side of the Rottweiler. But I've been around a lot of great Corsos. You know what I'm saying? I don't think there's much difference. To be honest with you, I even messing with fooling with you. I'm looking at Dobermans now.
I see the pictures in the back.
Yeah, I'm not mad at Dobermans. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I got a Rottweiler because, like I said, I'm a simple person. Like, once I get set on something, like I wanted a Rottweiler probably 20 years before I got one. It was just hard to change my mind. Even though by that time, like 20, when I first understood when I first wanted a Rottweiler, I didn't know about I knew about the Doberman, but I didn't really know about the real Doberman, the European Doberman. You know what I'm saying?
Right. There's a difference. Yeah.
Yeah. The protective, the emotionally stable, the mentally sound Doberman. You know what I'm saying? That's not the idea that I had in my head, And then in regards to the Cane Corso, I didn't know much about them either. So I went, for the most part, just wanting a Rottweiler. But there are a lot of great breeds out there, amazing breeds, and you really just got to find one that fits your life. I like the Rottweiler because they're not an extremely energetic dog, especially like in middle age, right? Like, all he needs is walks. I can toss the ball around with him. I can take him up to my in-laws' house, let him run the yard, toss the ball, take him for a little walk. He good,
Yeah.
He'll come in the house and lay down for 2 days. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I need. Cause like I said, I got other things I have to do. I have to raise these kids. I have to I gotta work. I got other things I gotta do.
Yeah. I will say this, man. If I if I had the room
Mm-hmm.
and the landscape, I would get Dogo Argento.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I love animals that are made for game hunting. I would get a Caney Corso, a Irish setter. They're pretty.
Nice.
A
Yeah.
Gordon setter, um, Black Lab, Great Dane, Kango. But see, here's the deal, man. If you buy a lot of the dogs that I like and you buy them from people here in the United States, you get a 50% chance of getting a dog that comes from the origin, right? Because they're watered. Usually, the American breeders watered the dog down where he's not genetically doing what he was created to do.
Right.
So, um, if I was to get a Dogo Argento, I'm going to Argentina. I'm telling you right now.
Right.
But I mean, there are great breeders here. Because of this channel that I have been promoting, there's some hell of a great Rottweiler breeders, hell of a great Boerboel Masters, Caney Corsos, and Presses. And I'm not talking about bullshit breeders. And I'm talking about breeders who have imported the ingredients and perfected their craft, did something sustainable with them, get all the pin hips checks, all that type of shit. I mean, they go through the whole gambit and they're asking for premium money because they're putting in premium time and dollar. These are not guys who are putting two dogs together and say, let's make puppies. These guys are doing DNA checking. They stand away from the Timitor look and all this mush face, and they got a whole science why they don't do that. And the Caney Corso the same way. My boy Rich DeBerry at La Foon Dashion, he's a presser connect dude. He's putting artwork into this shit. Like it's phenomenal. And these are black breeders, man, or non Anglo-Saxon breeders. I'm not saying there are not no great Anglo-Saxon European breeders here, white breeders. I'm just saying the ones I've been running into lately have been brothers of color, and they're putting in some work, man. Like, and they're charging like $4, $5, $6 grand, and they're justifying it. It's not like we're throwing some shit together. So now, I'm from Mississippi, so when I was graduating in '94, before OJ flipped out, I graduated in May of '94. OJ flipped out in June. You went to Howard, so you know it's cracking. I knew that the world was much bigger than Jackson. I knew that, right? And I had an aunt that lived in the Bay Area. All I need is a couch to sleep on for 2 months. Save some money. I'm gonna get my own shit. So I didn't know that the Roddy world, the Caney Corso, the Presser world, the Boerboel Master world was bigger than that. It's big now. It's like my eyes were open wide shut because I was only fixated on my breed. But now I realize there's some brothers, man, like Cedar Bluff Kennels, Rottweiler Kennels, who sell dogs to dads and them. He's putting in some real shit, man. Like, he's not just throwing two dogs together. He's like, no. That one has too much drive. This female is milder, And my boy Saeed, last night, I talked to him out there in Arizona. He's got nothing but top-notch bitches and 2 or 3 great studs, and all the studs are different. And he's matching which one goes with which female to get the best litter out. These guys are not so. And most of these guys, like Joe from NWA, they want to interview you because they realizing, like, man, first of all, you're an icon in this game. Let's keep it real, right? And you're one of the first brothers to go on YouTube. And listen, people didn't even know you. Listen, people didn't even know you was a brother. You wasn't ever for a long time.
Right.
Right. So to us, dude, you the one that trailblazed, wanting us to put the shit out there. And do quality content and hats off to you. And these guys, everyone knows who you are. They seen your videos at some point. You didn't go on YouTube and look up dogs and none of your shit come up. It's not happening. Right?
That's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it, and I appreciate it, man. And I tell everybody, you know, I didn't lead with blackness. Obviously, I'm black. I love being black. I don't never go nowhere and not try to be black. I love it. But I feel like at the end of the day, you start with the dogs, you know. And I went to where the dogs were, you know. And I talked to people about dogs. I didn't talk to them about politics. I didn't talk to them about social constructs and all that. So we talked about dogs.
Yeah.
And I think that's the magic of documentary TV is that it starts with the dog and kind of ends with the dog. You know, one of the things that I don't do, you know, what I would love to say right here, right now is one of the things I don't ever do is tell somebody that they got a bad dog. Whether
Right.
they do or they don't. You know what I'm saying? It's not a conversation that you really need to have. Right? I see a lot of people on the internet fussing and fighting and people telling people what's wrong with their dog. Like, that's not even a conversation you need to have. If you know something's wrong with your dog, don't breed to that dog. Don't get any puppies off of the dogs. That's all you got to do, right?
Yeah.
If I walk up to you and you introduce me to your wife, I'm not gonna sit there and tell you everything wrong with your wife.
Oh,
It's not
God.
my business. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. It's
Right.
not my, like, why would you put that in? First of all, why would you waste the energy to do that, right? And second of all, it's disrespectful. Right?
Yeah.
And you basically, like you said, well, you didn't say this, but basically what you begin to do is you begin to put walls up around what you do.
Right.
You know? So for me, you know, I started out with the fact that I love dogs. I was interested in dogs. And I wanted people to be better dog owners. And understand, like, you know, dogs aren't, we think like, oh, you know, my dog is my baby. You know, if you say that, I hope you know what you're saying, because a dog's never a baby.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You don't never want to be treated like a baby. You know, and we got to start understanding what a dog is and what the different breeds are, because you know, a Rottweiler is different from a German Shepherd, which is different from a Pomeranian, which is different from a Chihuahua. Right? They require different things. So that's what documentary TV came about. And because I didn't lead with blackness, I interviewed everybody black.
Right.
I was interviewing Mexicans. Listen, I was interviewing Mexicans in 2009, 2008, and everyone's telling me like, "Don't you know Mexicans is killing black people?" I was like, "No, I didn't know that."
I didn't know that.
It was a gang thing. I don't know what was going on, but it was a gang thing. Like, and I was doing a lot of them. I was doing the bully thing, so a lot of the Mexicans may have been. Again, like I said, if you were a gang member, we didn't need to talk about it. We was talking dogs.
Right. That's it. That's our
You know
interest.
I didn't need to know what you did when you wasn't talking dogs and when you wasn't dealing with your dogs. So yeah, so you know, but like I said, you know, you can kind of close things off if you focus on race. And that's something that I ever really did. But I always felt like I represented my race, you know.
Yeah.
And I felt like, I mean, to hear you say that all these black guys look at me as like an icon, that's dope for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I know it's a small niche of a market, which is, it don't even
Right.
matter. But just the fact that people know me, right? My wife is more like, she's like my hype man, right? So anytime she sees anybody with a dog, my husband does documentary TV, and then they'll be like, "Oh, I watch that channel," and so she's always amazed at how many people watch my channel, and I'm thinking like,
man.
you know, it's crazy. It is crazy in a lot of ways. It's flattering in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But at the same time, for me, like I said, it's about the dogs. You know,
It's
I want to
always.
talk. I want to talk about the dogs. I mean, if you got a dog I ain't never seen before, I want to meet your dog. Tell me what's different about your dog. What's your dog do? You know what I'm saying? You know, and
I see you. You were taking the show on the road too. You would go out of state, out of town, and doing interviews. I was like, man, you do this stuff, bro.
And I'm gonna get back to that very shortly. I just gotta, like I said, it's just right now, man. Like, I love dogs, but I don't love nothing more than I love my family. And right now, we're in the middle of, like I said, a remodel. and then my kids are, you know, I'm really trying to prep them. They're 10 and 11, so we got them in sports, we got them in school. That's, you know, that's 7 days a week. You know, and I'm the type of father where, like, you know, I'm not turning my kid over to somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm not gonna come home. I'm not gonna have my kid come home and tell me how the game was. We're gonna drive home and we're gonna talk about the game.
Yeah.
That's just what's important to me. So that takes up a lot of time. It really kills a lot of the traveling. But I'm gonna restructure things, organize things, get my kids on a schedule. And because there's things, there dogs I see out there that I want to do. And I'm starting to get an itch for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I
Yeah.
want to go film that people. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to go film
Yeah.
that dog. I want to see that dog. You know?
Yeah.
I know you was
Go ahead.
I know you was talking about a brother somewhere, I guess he's in New York, that has mastiffs. I kind of
Yeah,
checked
that's
out his
Ben.
page.
Ben White. Ben
Yeah.
White.
I
Yes.
checked out his page. I was like, yo, that's an interesting brother. I want to talk to him.
Yes.
And then think about it, you know, the one thing I really want to start doing also is, because I really believe dog people, we are unique people.
Yeah.
If at your heart you love, respect, and care for dogs, you're a special person.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Because that's why I wanted my kids to be raised with dogs or animals, right? You got to
Yes.
understand how to be.
Yes.
You got to be a custodian, right? Because like you said, we're you know, we're gods, right?
Yes.
On a certain level, I believe that we're gods, right?
Yes.
But the reality of it is that if you're going to be a god, you got to have dominion over everything, which means you
Yes.
got to know how to care for people. You got to learn how to care for animals. You got to learn how to care for the earth, the environment, all these things. You got to be careful. You got to be mindful of, and be careful, and be able to take care of, right?
Right.
So yeah, so I lost my thought, but
You know
I
what
think
the thing is, like my some good friends of mine, she's a breeder out there in Colorado, Rocky Mountain, Dobermans. And she falls in the same pool with like Ben and my boy out there, Dominique at Cedar Bluff, and my boy Rich DeBerry in Tickfall, Louisiana, from Lafoon Dashion. These people, their dog is part of the family. Like they're not step kids. They're like, we live, eat, sleep, and breathe these dogs. Like Ben, he's in the same category.
right,
Everything revolves around these animals.
right,
Everything.
right,
And they don't move unless they know where the dog's gonna move. And this is where this is where you get people who are just breeders or people who is really into the breed. Like this is their life. It's like I would be surprised if they had tattoos of their favorite Doberman on his shoulder or something, because this is the love and the passion that we need to see about these animals, you know. And these people will be around for years breeding good quality dogs, and they will always have a waiting list, because you know why? Because they breed for quality, not quantity.
right,
There's a hell of a difference. Great breeders don't have 1,000 litters a year. They
right,
may have 3 litters a year, maybe 4,
right,
and people are waiting years to get one because they know that they put in the work, man, for that litter, for that dog, and they know they're going to get exactly what they asked for. You know what I'm saying?
right,
And
right.
yeah, like my girl right here, she just said she's been breeding for 30 years, dude. You can't knock nobody off who's been doing the breed for 30 years. They doing something right.
Nice, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And like I want you to go on the road. Hell, man, you know what? I'm gonna put it out there. I even be a co-host, and you know how like you go to Vlad TV, he be having other people do the interviews sometimes. Listen, I go on the road with you, and we'll sit down and have talks with Rich DeBerry out there, or my man Dominique, or Joe, or my man Jordan for Borba Masters, you know, and talk about like the real aspect. Or you come to Arkansas. I'm coming to Arkansas. Don't trip. We'll come to Arkansas and talk about these animals and sit down and take good footage for asking these good questions. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
And,
right.
I'm with it. You know, hell, you ain't got to pay for my flight ticket, but I ain't flying Spirit. I'm not. Fuck that. Right?
Like Spirit, yeah.
Yeah. And no, man, I appreciate you chiming in, Audio of Day. We got to do this again, but I want to do it again where your people on your channel and on your Facebook, and people, if you want to follow, it's not like you're not following his ass anyway, but if you want to follow him on his big ass Facebook page, he got damn near 1 million followers. Go to get Dogumentary TV. What you see on Dogumentary TV on his Facebook page is probably gonna be the same stuff he posts on his YouTube. And if you haven't been a subscriber, subscribe to Dogumentary TV.
Please do.
Help contribute to the foundation for Zeke's kids' schooling and their equipment for sports. This kid.
We need it all, man.
Yeah.
Gotta pay for this remodel.
There you go. Actually, I think you're doing an addition. You're doing more of an addition. Yeah, that's different.
Yeah.
That's different. But no, man, I appreciate you chiming in, taking time out, and I wish we could do this a lot longer. People got a bunch of questions, man. But we can't get to them all. But guys, next time we do this, Zeke's gonna have his internet cracking. He's gonna be somewhere where he ain't sweating. He ain't gonna be in his sauna doing the interview with dogs behind him that look like my dogs. We're not gonna do that again. And we'll talk more about Roscoe, and hopefully we'll do something together where we have both of the Roddies together. Obviously, they can't play together. We know that, but we can talk about each one, and I do that. All right, until then, I appreciate you guys chiming in. And as usual, take care of your dogs, but also take care of yourself. All right?
Sure.